Assalamu alaikum student of class 9. I am your ICT teacher Khurshid Alam Rani from Square High School and College, and today I am going to discuss about internet addiction disorder, which is from your ICT book chapter 2. So let's get started. The word addiction has negative connotation and it is usually used with reference to drugs. It destroys life because it is tough to come out of the web of drugs. Perhaps you are confused thinking that how an alarming and negative word addiction can be associated with ICT and mentioned in an ICT textbook. Some of you who have computers may have crossed the limit while playing computer games. A few of you did not leave the computer even though you should have for an important task. The users who have the internet access have Facebook account too. When you post status on the Facebook, you eagerly wait for a long time to see whether somebody gives a like to your status. You feel pleasure when the number of your Facebook friends increases. Perhaps you may have spent more time on Facebook than usual. You might have done better in the examination if you had spent less time on this social network. You could have read some good books or played a bit more outside in the playground or spent more times with your family members. Perhaps you who have been damaging your lives by wasting your time on Facebook or by playing computer games more than you should understand the cause of adding a negative word addiction with the positive word computer and the internet. Addiction means when someone, in spite of knowing it is a freakish act, cannot resist the temptation of doing it. What is true for drug is true for the computer and internet too. As drugs are harmful for life, so are the computer and the internet if they are used beyond the limit. An addiction to computer games being from the childhood, and it usually happens due to the ignorance of parents. A computer is a tool and different types of work can be done with it. As many positive words are said of this technology, parents think that what is done through a computer is positive. Therefore, when they see their child sitting at the computer for a long time, they do not think of being alert. Computer games are a kind of entertainment and it has a different dimension. If you play computer games merely as entertainment while staying within the limit, that can be a part of good entertainment. However, this does not happen most of the time. People across age, children to adult, may be addicted to computer game. A Korean man died while playing a computer game for 50 hours at a stretch. A Chinese couple sold their child to pay for their computer games. These examples remind us that an addiction to computer games is not unusual if caution is not taken. One can easily be addicted to computer game. As addiction to computer game is new, extensive research has not been done on it. In future, it will provide us with absolute direction. Research has identified the presence of a stimulating chemical in a gamer's brain addicted to computer games. The shape of a brain is altered in those who use a computer 10 hours at a stretch 6 days a week. Therefore, we should keep in mind that computer games could be a good entertainment, but it is very easy to get addicted to it, and the effect of it is certainly damaging. Addiction to social networking site. Man is a social being. They continued a social relationship all the time. However, the nature of social communication nowadays is distinctly different from the one in past. It means a different social networking based on the internet. There are some social networking sites such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, etc. through which people can communicate with their circle. Once, these sites were only for the young people, but now People of all ages use it. They use it not for communicating with others but also for establishing ideologies and legitimizing their opinions. If it was within the periphery of objectives, it would not have created any problems. But it is a matter of regret that addiction to social networking site has become a problem for the whole world. Dear student, legitimize meaning is to make something legal or acceptable. Okay. The psychiatrists have started doing research on this matter, and the findings show that the success of the sites depends on how skillfully they can attract the users. The main factor is how often users visit the site and how long they remain on the site. The more the site is visited, the more successful the site is, and consequently, the more money the site will earn. Therefore, if the users are not careful, there is every possibility of developing addiction to these sites. Another interesting factor was identified by psychiatrists. Individuals have an inherent desire to impress and admire their own self. In psychology, this is defined as narcissism. The social networking sites instigate this inherent human desire. A competitive attitude develops within everyone to make themselves popular. The users upload minute information about themselves, and when people watch and like it, they become happy. The entire system works like a drug, and users waste their time for hours. In fact, a major waste of time worldwide is caused by the immense popularity of social networking sites. The way out of addiction. We have already learned in the previous section that a man can be addicted to computer games and social networking sites just as he can be addicted to drugs. Therefore, both drug and computer game or social networking site addicts display a similar kind of signs and symptoms. It is wise to be careful than to try to get rid of the addiction. There is an apprehension that the users who do not know anything about the addiction may develop that tendency to it. Since you have read about it in the textbook, you may remain more careful about it. People may become too preoccupied with it as they do with other sources of entertainment. However, playing computer games does not increase our knowledge on technology. You will just have the enjoyment of playing the computer games, not any technological knowledge. You should be careful about playing computer games so that it may not affect the important works of our daily life. We hope that you will not be addicted to computer games. Similarly, you will prevent the people around you from being computer game addicts. Those who become game addicts show some particular symptoms. They always think about a particular game, and when they start playing the game, they become excited and they cannot do their daily jobs smoothly. They become inattentive in their studies. When they are forced to keep themselves aloof from playing games, they feel discomfort. The point of worry is that the addiction may come back even after they become free from this bad habit. The people who somehow have developed addiction to computer games and want to get rid of it have to acknowledge themselves the fact that they have developed an addiction. They have to make a list of important events of their life. They should convince themselves about the place of computer game on the list. They have to make a list of the problem of their life too, and they should identify the problems caused by playing computer games. They should allocate their time to cover all the important aspects of life: study, homework, playground, extracurricular activities, spending time with the family, and voluntary social works. If they get spare time after doing all of these works, they will play computer games. They should gradually keep themselves busy with creative activities rather than computer games. The users who have been addicted to social networking sites should proceed in the same way to get rid of the addiction. They should try to convince themselves that wasting time on this website is a kind of addiction. When you have an intention of watching something on social networking sites, you should ask yourself whether you have really any purpose of watching it. If not, you have to control yourself. You should note down the duration of time you spend every time on the site. After summing up the time you spend on it in a day, week, and month, you should come to a conclusion about the volume of work you could have done during this time. You have to reduce the number of unknown friends from your social networking site to reduce your addiction. You have to convince yourself that you can serve the sites after completing the important jobs. You have to develop the habit of deactivating social networking sites when you have exams or other important events. You will gradually reduce the addiction in this way and finally get rid of it completely. You should remember that every moment of your life is valuable and it is unwise to spend these moments for any addiction. Okay student, that was all about for today. In next class, I will discuss about piracy. Till then, goodbye.